Many of us have, of course, the impression that, like other things in life, job search is linear. You start without it, you plot this course, you move through different seasons, sessions, moments, and then suddenly you get one at the end of this trail. I'm talking about networking now. How do you and when do you network? What's the best time, the best way? It's not one blip in the linear progression of things, is it? It's something you do ideally long before you needed a job. But let's say you're in that moment where you're in search. How do you make that a part of your search experience so that it's productive and effective for you and not just something you do at some point?
Right. So let's first start off with a definition of networking. Okay. Networking is, a network of relationships. There's first degrees, there's second degrees, and they're relationships of some sort. Relationships are not one-way streets. So if you only go to network when you need something, you're going to have a difficult time being authentic about wanting to build a relationship. Okay. The reason networks are so strong, like some of the strongest networks I've ever seen, are because that relationship has been cultivated. And this doesn't have to take time, but a lot of times it does happen over time. And a lot of times these relationships are so far removed that they may not even seem like a relationship. Maybe you've never even seen that person live, but yet that person feels like somebody you could call up and ask a quick question to anytime you needed to. And when in the 08 recession, I had a lot of my clients that were asking me to help them find work. And I had some people, most of my clients were calling, and I couldn't help them because I didn't have the right job orders for them. They weren't my needle in the haystack, but I wanted to help them. So what I did is I looked at all the other people, because I still had searches that I had to work on. Well, and we were all chasing the same people everybody else was after. And so I said, well, why are these people so in demand? And I took a deep dive into those people and found out that they were the type of people that were always treating their network as important. Everybody they've ever encountered in their life was important. Not only important enough to help, but also important enough to have some method of staying in touch, whether they connected to them on LinkedIn. 2005 was a big year. I got my first LinkedIn invitation, and all of a sudden this stuff went live in the cloud. Or whether it be enough that they could just remember to make a phone call to say, hey, I think you need to talk to so-and-so. So if you haven't done that, let's get past the woulda, shoulda, couldas, okay? And just realize that there's a lot of people in your same boat who are having that epiphany right now. And there's a lot of people who say, you know what, I really do want to do it right. I really want to go out there and help people understand how I serve. Make sure that they feel comfortable asking me a question if they had a question. I want to do this right. And you can actually go on, and if you go on with the right servant strategy or value strategy on LinkedIn, you could build this from scratch. The people that you in your network, maybe somebody you haven't talked to in 20 years, you could pick up the phone, and with the right value conversation, you could actually pick this up and do this from scratch. Because that branding and now I'm going to go back to the brand awareness thing. That brand awareness thing has to be communicated to your network. Those people that you talk to are going to need to give it to other people. Odds are this next job is not going to come from a first degree connection, but rather a second or third degree connection.